live. Welcome to Awakening Warriors podcast,
Where
we talk about life, learning, lessons, and love.
Boom. So happy birthday!
Thanks.
It's a birthday episode.
I did think about how I mentioned for your birthday doing like a birthday episode, but this is technically a birthday episode because it's literally my birthday.
Was it on my birthday?
I
I don't even know. I doubt it.
don't think so, but on another podcast I listen to, they just do like a birthday episode, so then like the other person just like asks them like questions, and then you like get to know that person more on their birthday episode.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, maybe.
This week we're going to talk about expanding to expand. Expanding to expand. Expand to expand. Which honestly, I'm just stealing this from basically a coaching call that we had earlier this week, which I thought was just very applicable for our stage in life. Just because of like everything that we've got going on as far as like moving to South Dakota and selling this and selling that, and just a lot of moving parts. And I mean, ultimately the reason we're doing this is to expand ourselves, financially, spiritually, mentally, just to get out of basically the comfort bubble that we've built. And me particularly, especially, I never really cared specifically, and I knew I'd never have a big problem moving out of town, whatever. But like mentally, when other people like move out of town, and because I don't know, as negative or generally it is to say, like there is like a thing like to where people that stay in their hometowns are typically losers. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, there's like a stereotype around that.
Yeah, yep. And there is some truth to that stereotype. That's why it's there. That's why stereotypes are there. And I've never really looked at myself like that, because I know I'm not. But there's those things do cross my mind. Like, did I just not move away because I couldn't move away, or did I just not move away because I'm a loser, or shit like that. And it's just things that cross my mind. It's not like I actually am like attaching myself to that, because like results don't lie at the end of the day, and I'm able to produce results that show differently for those things. But now that it's like time for these for this actual big move and big expansion to happen, I'm like, holy shit, like, because just to elaborate, and I don't know if we've elaborated on other podcasts, but I've basically lived in a 6-mile line. I lived at my mom's, I got kicked out, I lived with my grandma's for like 3-4 months, and then I bought my house here, and ever since I've just lived here. So I've always lived in basically the same town, and all this shit. So it's obviously 29 years is very comfortable for me, and now I'm just like fucking leaving it all.
Send it.
So but one of the things that was brought to my attention is, you have to expand to expand. And that's exactly why we're taking this opportunity, because it's an incredible opportunity. And I was just like, you know what? Like, because essentially we've had goals, we've had goals to accomplish, and, like, it's kind of come in very interesting timing, because as soon as I accomplished that goal, like, this opportunity came up. My biggest goal is to pay off my house, right, and live, for the most part debt free and all this other shit. But you can expand faster when you leverage debt. And like, I didn't really have a whole lot of mentorship around that specific topic. My parents are middle class, you could say, and they're fucking shitty with money. Your parents are middle class and shitty with money, and like we never really had any guidance. So like basically I had to figure out everything that I've learned up to this point by myself through educational videos and books and shit like that. So, and I forgot where I was going with that. Basically I have an opportunity to have mentorship, and I can take a lot of capital that I've built here and go over there and learn how to basically expand my horizon. So, and just this one move. So, like, ideally, the main reason for me that like my eyes are on is the financial gain, right? But I also recognize that sacrificing or whatever, what I have here, I will also gain a lot of spiritual and mental capacity and growth as well. You have any thoughts or questions or concerns? Because I feel like I'm already 5 minutes in here, 6 minutes in here, and I'm like dominating the conversation. So,
I would agree.
What are your whole thoughts?
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot that I've mentioned this before, that even just like the move itself, like just getting there is going to take a lot of growth and change and expansion, if you will. And we talked a little bit about this beforehand, but like there are many different areas of life that you can expand, like as human beings, whether people want to like admit it or whether that's the path that they're on. Like as human beings, we came here to like evolve and expand and grow, because we talked about this before, but like without the growth and without that evolution and expansion, like you're basically just dying. And yeah, so I think like we're, especially with this move, like obviously it's pretty big, right? Like you said, you've only lived in this little area, and I mean I traveled from the east side of the state, which I don't know. I mean that was definitely like a thing, right? Like I left my parents' house and left like my brother and left all my family who's like still over there, but I like moved in with a friend at college, so like it wasn't super, and obviously we'll have each other when we go there too, but this is just gonna create so much more.
Yeah, we're balls deep over there, whereas you're only
Yeah.
2 hours away from home over there, so you can literally be there, no problem. 12 hours isn't a huge deal, but it's a fuck ton further than 2.
Right. Like if you need to, you can do that in a day, right? But it's not just, let's just go take a trip.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we do day trips over to the east side when we need to, but like that's not happening.
Yeah.
The other thing that comes to mind is like you need to expand to expand. So at first when you brought that up, or when like Sean was talking about it, made me think of like the chicken or the egg thing, but it's not quite the same, because the chicken or the egg is like which one came first.
Yeah.
But like in order to expand, to even have the opportunity to expand, you have to first decide to expand.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm stealing his stuff, but he talked about like the water bottle thing. Like if you have a gallon water jug, like you can only fit a gallon in there. If you want more water, you need a bigger jug.
Yeah.
And so like same situation, like you need to decide and make that choice first to even have that space in your life for things to come into it. And like if you don't make that decision to expand, there's no room for anything.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll just touch on it for a second, because I don't necessarily want to like rag on people in general, and I don't want to make it about that side of things, but I feel like a lot of people get very complacent in life, and looking at like my family and like just people in general in society, like they just like they're in the same spot they were in fucking 10 years ago as they are now. And like that's just like mind blowing to me. Like I don't want to be like, because like, okay, I paid off the house, like fuck yeah, I hit that goal, and now I'm like, okay, now what's next? Like, I'm like, all right, now I want to hit the next level and the next level and the next level and the next level until I'm a multi-millionaire. But if I decided to stay here and be like, okay, cool, like I've built this comfort, and like, yeah, go ahead.
Well, and I was just gonna say, like that's the thing though, like, and I have more compassion, I think, because for me, I'm like, who cares what that person's doing with their life? I also like the comfort, like as humans, like our brains seek that comfort, and unless you're like us or other individuals who are willing to be uncomfortable for a while to get to something, to like another level, like it makes total and complete sense to me that people sit in their comfort. Like
definitely, but we came here to expand, and you're not going to expand in comfortableness. Like you can't be comfortable and expand. It's not possible.
I'm aware, but that's why I also mentioned like not everybody is on this path. Not everybody's aware that like you can make hard decisions and it might suck for a while, but like that is going to like propel you forward and help you expand. Like not everybody.
Then why'd you even come here?
Don't ask me. I decided to move to South Dakota, so you're looking at the wrong person.
Yeah, but you weren't always in this fucking mindset. I feel like I feel like people just are fucking like too scared of discomfort. Whereas like
For sure.
my whole life was discomfort. Like everything about it was uncomfortable.
Well,
So
right,
like
and
I'm
that's
just used to it. Like Goggins is a perfect example of being like he's comfortable being uncomfortable. Like he can still keep his mind straight while in the fucking depths
but
of
that's
hell.
also being very comfortable in chaos. That's like a different.
He's not yeah, but you're not comfortable. You're just
familiar.
you're just able to be in control of that uncomfortableness. It's not like you're I say you're comfortable and being uncomfortable just because that's a generic fucking line, but it's really you just have your mind control. You're able to control your mind because like you're still thinking those thoughts and like fuck, I want to fucking quit and like fuck, there's like you're just not attaching yourself to those thoughts, and you're just being able to guide yourself back onto the right path.
I also think as far as like other people like sitting in their comfort and not making like scary decisions that would force them into expansion, because I think like everybody may to some extent hear that whisper, right, of like there's got to be more, or like, oh, that'd be really cool to like make this decision to move or start this business or whatever. But if you don't, it's like a muscle, right? Like your instinct and that kind of like intuition is like a muscle. If you don't work with that enough and listen to it and try things, and like you're going to hear that whisper and then it's going to be gone.
Yeah.
Like, because your ego and your mind, when that's what's running the show a lot of time, like that whisper will come up and then ego's going to slice it down and like that's it. And so I think it also just comes down to like, because they're like, again, I think that people in society, general society, still have those whispers of like the expansion and the growth, or like what could I be? What, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Which is lame to me. Like,
and it may not be a conscious choice though.
Yeah. But anyways, I didn't even want to fucking get down that road, like I said, a long time, because that's like fuck those people. Those people are just gonna they have to make the decision and choice. Like if you're watching this podcast, obviously, or any other podcast like around the same stuff, like you're obviously like you already consciously made that decision to expand.
Some degree.
Yeah. But I just wanted to touch on the fact that like a lot of people are just like, because I look around and like my parents, like they're a perfect example. Like like they fucking I don't see any like expansion or growth inside their lives, and it's just like what the fuck, it's just like you're gonna sit there and live like the next 20 to 30 years.
That's none of your business.
Well, yeah, I know, but that's where I came from, so I have to acknowledge that and be like, okay, like I have to acknowledge where I came from and what I was taught, and able to fuck it in, and then acknowledge where I'm at now. I'm not like it's their fucking deal, and everybody else in society, it's their fucking deal. But I just think it's like super pathetic. And if you talk about Brad Lee, dude, I love him. He's so fucking funny. He's like, poor people are selfish motherfuckers. He's like, all they do is they don't, they barely provide for themselves. I'm like, fuck, you're right. He's like, me, I provide for fucking thousands. I provide thousands of jobs. Really? I'm the fucking selfish one because I'm rich, but all these motherfuckers that, have jobs and they can't even fucking afford to basically pay for their own bills, they're selfish. I'm like, damn. See, it's all about perspective and twisting. So... I'm
waiting for the wrap up because you just said you wanted to wrap up this part.
Okay, that's it. So, poor people are selfish, that's it. So, and I don't want to be selfish. I just want to be fucking loaded, and I can just do whatever I want. And if I want to fucking donate a few $1,000s here or there, and it's just like no big deal. Like bam, done.
And that's to bring it back, because geez, oh Pete, that's part of the like expansion piece too. Like you said, like the thing that's driving us mostly. I don't know if it'd be me necessarily. So anyway, I'll just finish this thought. That's driving us, you, whatever, mostly is like the financial piece, and like, but what comes with that is also the expansion and the ability to help. Like we right now, like there are certain things that we do, like with like the Compassion Project, and like I'll give to like different animal shelters and stuff, and like some like there are things that we do now, but like as soon as we like make this choice and move and expand in all the areas, like that in and of itself is gonna be able to expand too.
Yeah, our giving capacity will be able to expand, So like it won't be a big deal to fucking throw, money here, there, wherever else, because it's just like, basically it'll go from like us donating $50 to $100 a month or whatever to this or that, and to versus, doing $1,000 to $2,000, and then eventually it'll be $5,000 to $10,000, and it'll be, like that'll expand. And again, for me, like, I'm not even gonna lie about it. It's like a lot of the financial gain, but I recognize what comes with that financial gain. You know, like it's like the financial gain is the first thing that I see. It's kind of like seeing a hot chick. You know, like, okay, first you see the looks. Okay, I see the Lambo, and I see the fucking house, and I see this and that, whatever else. That's instantly what you see. And then you get to know the chick, and you see whether she's fucking worth it or not. And you get to know, like, the spirit, the soul, and the mental capacity, and everything else that comes with, you know, certain things. So, like, you know, like, that money, there's a lot of growth. Like, because you have to become a certain person in order to be able to hold that money. There's a reason why these fucking NFL players and these lottery winners, you know, and all this other shit are, you know, they go broke after a while because they didn't fucking expand. They never fucking learned.
Their pockets did, and that was it.
Yeah, their pockets expanded, and that was absolutely it. And then because they didn't grow, they didn't fucking learn anything. They didn't earn that money, so, you know, then they fucking lost it all because they didn't know how to manage that, you know. And so that's where that comes in for me personally. So there was something that Justin said. He's like, you know, are you at dinner that one night? He was talking about, like, are you willing, or why don't you want to sell the house? You know, and I'm thinking, like, long term, like, I'm thinking, like, that's what I want is fucking cash flow, and this place is paid off. It fucking offers, you know, cash flow and whatever else. And you know, he called me out, which there might have been some truth to it, but it definitely wasn't my full intention or attachment to, you know, like, oh, I've got a fallback plan, you know? Mm-hmm. It was just like, you know, like, that's a fucking nice asset there.
It is interesting, though, because my dad said that, too. Like, oh, you guys are going to plan to sell? Well, like, plan B, kind of. Like, didn't he mention something to you about that?
Your dad or my dad?
Mine.
I don't remember. Maybe.
Anyway, it's just, just came up with something else. Too,
yeah. So, you know, like, even that, like, and, you know, I'm just like, all right, let's go balls deep. Let's go fucking jump in head first and, you know, like, let's see how it goes. Because, like, if I dabble and fucking play and whatever else, then I might not do as well as I could.
I also feel like the hippie part of me, like the manifestation stuff, like making that decision to, like, I'm choosing to move, or I'm choosing Sean's example, like the warehouse, like the bigger warehouse, like you are like putting faith in the fact that like this is going to happen.
Yeah.
And then the universe is gonna be like, okay, like I see you, like you believe in you enough to make this decision and do this thing, so like here, like let me help you in this expansion because you're already deciding this is going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, and that just puts more, even, you know, outside of the universe and just into yourself, that also puts a lot more faith into yourself as well, because you're like, holy fuck, I'm making this decision. Like, you got the balls enough to make that decision.
And also, like, potentially, like, fire under your butt. Like, I did this. Like, I need to make, not in, like, a lack sense, but, like, I'm going to put the work in to get this done because I just made this decision to X, Y, Z.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, like, reading... there's a couple other points I want to talk about, like your thoughts on moving and like that whole thing. But then just like reading, like people are like, oh yeah, you know, I'm just a really bad reader and whatever else. But you know, like I don't like reading, and you know, because reading was a really tough thing for me to do, and as of recently, it's been tough again, just because of lack of discipline. But in the beginning, it was extremely hard to just set myself down. But like just expanding. So like if you expand yourself to sit down and read for 10 minutes a day, you know, like okay, cool, and then you're going to get the expansion of the knowledge that you're actually reading. So you're expanding yourself like a double whammy type of deal.
I almost feel like it's more than just two.
Oh yeah, it probably is. But to simplify it, you're forcing discipline on yourself to expand, and then on top of that, you're expanding. You're getting the natural expansion from the knowledge that you're gaining from reading. So like again, expanding to expand, or you know, like he said, the water bottle. Like if you want to carry more water, guess what? You gotta fucking buy a new water bottle. You know, so then you can just keep pouring and pouring and pouring and pouring, and it's just going to overflow and fucking spill out. So you can't, the capacity of the water bottle is limited. Well, right now, your soul, your spirit, your mental capacity is limited. unfortunately,
to that size.
To this size, yes, exactly, yep. So in order to expand and to be able to love more, or have more peace, or have more money, or have more, you fucking name it, joy, then you have to fucking be willing to expand yourself. Because and like people don't even realize on what they're missing out on. I'm kind of a fucking nut job, to be honest, but they like, I told my dad, I'm like, you don't even know what happiness is. I'm like, you think you're happy. I'm like, but you're not happy. You got no idea what happiness is. And that's where I think people, like, they haven't experienced it, so they don't know how to, they can't relate to me, obviously. A lot of people can't relate to me because I'm a fucking nut job. But, like, I've actually experienced happiness. Like, I know the fact that I'm not as happy as I was, like, I'm not as happy now as I was, insert here, at this point. Because I've had a different level of happiness. Now, I'd like to be at that level all the time. It's kind of like the thermostat deal. Mm-hmm. Ed Milet talks about the thermostat. Because and I think Sean actually talks about it, or somebody actually talks about it. The thermostat, like, if you have your house on a thermostat and you put it at 80 degrees, well then it gets up to fucking 100 degrees, and then the AC will kick on and bring it back down. Well, that's how life is. So, like, eventually you have to be able to figure out how to get around. Like, if you're a fucking 80 degreer and I'm a 70 degreer, I'll naturally rise up to somewhere between 70 and 80 degrees, because now I'm in your, at your thermostat, kind of. Because you're not going to come down. Well, you might come down a little bit, but for the most part, you're not going to come down much. You're pretty much stagnant at fucking 80 degrees. And for you to level up, you need to hang out with the 90 degrees. And the same thing. When I go over there, I'm going to be hanging out with fucking guys that have way more knowledge than I do. Like, they're going to be fucking talking about different things, which is one of the most exciting things that one of the most things that I'm excited about is the conversation. The different types of conversation about these things, because they're going to be talking about different things than my friends are talking about here. It's just because it's natural. Like, because, like, fucking poor people talk about one thing, rich people talk about one thing, fat people talk about one thing, shredded people talk about one thing, like, just family people talk about one thing, single people talk about one thing, like, so it's going to be a different topic of conversation in general, which I'm super excited about, because I can't stand fucking lame, like, non-productive, non-interesting
and even that's been, like, such an expansion, because, and I can still fall back on that for sure, but there are like, looking back at my past, like, there are times that was, like, all my conversation, and it was, like, comfortable and good, and, like, now, like, there have just been certain awakenings in our life that, like, make that type of conversation really hard to be around.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is, like, just growth there, too.
Yeah. So, the main reason we're moving is specifically, I guess, because of my career choice. So, what is
I find it so interesting, because that night, and it wasn't, like, a super legit offer yet and whatever, but I was, like, way more open to it, like, right off the bat. Like, as soon as it was, like, tossed out there, I was like, whoa. I'm like, dude, how crazy would that be? Like, anyway. But obviously, yes, you're the one taking the position out there, and you're the one that...
I'm the one that's basically agreeing to the opportunity and fucking, committing to the, responsibility.
Somebody asked me that on Saturday, like, how do you feel about moving? And I was like, I'm excited. Like, what do you mean? Or something like that. And they said, well, I was just curious, like, how you felt about it, because I know Montana, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what, you think I'm just, like, kicking and screaming, making this huge move? Like, I'm saying yes, too.
Yeah, I get that a lot, and I just don't understand, like, the type of, like... I almost get annoyed with people asking me that to a degree, because I've had it asked so many times, like, how does Andrea feel about it? How does Andrea feel about it? I'm like,
I loved when that answer was, she was more excited about it in the beginning than I was. I'm like, hell yeah! Because for whatever reason, people are like, how does she feel? Like,
yeah.
I'm saying yes, too. Like, we are both saying yes. Obviously, again, you're the one taking the legit position, but, like...
Yeah, yep.
Anyway.
So, it's just, like, I don't know. It's just, like, a fucking annoying, but,
How do I feel about it?
Yeah, what do you expect to get out of it? Because obviously, what's your whole thoughts on this whole fucking thing? In the side of expansion, I guess. Because that's what we're particularly discussing.
Well,
Like I already have a concept and idea of like what to expand, what to expect, and all that stuff. What is your side of things?
well, that's so. I was just gonna say, like, I think short term type things are easier for me to wrap my brain around because I am like, so even again, just like moving, like we still have like we've done a lot of stuff, like sold the house, done all these things, or working on selling the house and contract, and I think for me, like the process of actually like, okay, everything's packed up and like I'm in my car to move and leave, like I even just that I think is where like it's easier for my brain to focus on that right now as far as like that's gonna expand me, that's gonna grow me, especially because I know like once we actually get down to it, like it'll probably be pretty hard for me, kind of hard for me. But again, that just comes down to like attachments and how much I want to hang on to those. But I've been thinking about that recently because as far as like the work that I do, like I'm going to be doing the same work over there, but like looking at agencies, looking at just doing my private practice. And so I was like, what? Like, where do I personally want to grow? Like, again, like there's going to become personal stuff just in the sense that like we're moving out there and things are changing. But then like once we're there, like what do I want to do? And I think for me, it's easier to fall back on, well, these are your goals and I'm going to help you do those. But like, I don't necessarily want to do that. Like, I would love to like have my own thing, whatever that is, and like full force like decide to run with that. I don't know if that's going to be like brick and mortar business, if that's going to be some sort of coaching, if that's going to be more so like my private or like my own private practicing. Like, I don't necessarily know what that is right now, but there's definitely like something in me that's like, we're doing this move, we're like growing and expanding and doing all these things. Like, I don't want to just get there and then live the same kind of life that I am here. And it will be very different because we're gonna be around different people. Like, you're gonna be doing like different deals and stuff. But like, what am I personally gonna be doing that's like different once I get out there? I don't necessarily have an answer, but that's been like coming up for me. Someone actually just wished me happy birthday on Facebook, and I'm just remembering I haven't messaged him back yet. But he was just like, happy birthday, hope you're having a great day. Like, what's one goal that you want to accomplish this year? And I was like, sitting with that, because I'm like, I have this vague, I want to grow and expand and like find my own passion and like do something with that. But like, how vague is that? That's not helpful to like, I want to grow and expand and find something I love to do and do it. Like, what? That's not a plan. That's not a goal. That's like some like.
That's something I need to get more clarity with. I think I'll get more clarity once I get there, and I'm able to sit down with Austin and Justin, and be able to like make a plan of attack and stuff like that. But yeah, that's something definitely I need to get clarity on as far as like monetary value and stuff like that. Because the overall changing there is like I'm just like, dude, everything's changing, so let's fucking change everything. It's kind of like you're expanding, so let's expand. You're changing, so let's fucking change everything.
Well, it's like momentum train, right? Like, we're literally changing our environment. We're changing who we hang out with. We've already talked about like getting more serious and changing the way that we've been working out. Like,
yeah.
All of these things, so like it's gonna be momentum. Like, it's just gonna kind of snowball effect. Like, we're changing and growing here and are uncomfortable. Like, let's continue in this area and this area.
And it's also like you're jumping into a new pond, so like let's not swim the same way, kind of thing. Like like fucking.
Current's different, so you gotta do something different.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. Because currently like we don't have a dining room table, and we don't so it's just natural and easy for us to like fucking sit here. But like when we go there, we'll have and these are small little things that I already have in mind that we're changing, because like right now we eat and watch TV, right?
I know, I've been so serious about that one. Like, we're gonna eat at the table.
Yeah.
Like.
And like that alone, and then like now I'm like, dude, we got this space downstairs for a gym, and I've always had a really hard time working out like at home. Well, I think for me, it's because that I've never really had a good area to do it. Like, we got the basement. Basement's fucking shitty. You can't.
It's like dungeony.
You can, but it's just garbage. Like, it's not the same. And then
we half-assed it during COVID outside.
Yeah, outside, or I got to dedicate like the garage to do it, or like it's not okay the way we're doing it. But now I can fucking have a whole room dedicated to it. So literally, I can walk downstairs, fucking jump, do my thing, jump in the cold bath, and I can have a routine, because we have a pretty solid routine, a morning routine in general, but now we can make it better. So like now I'll save a couple bucks, not really like I'm really saving, because I'm spending fucking thousands of dollars on gym equipment, right? But at least now I don't have it, and I'll have good quality shit. But like, you know, and also the equipment. Like where do you put a fucking cable machine downstairs or in the thing? Like you can't. Like, and that's a very That's a staple of the fucking of working out for me at least is a cable machine and a squat rack. We didn't have a squat rack. What do you do with a squat rack? So now we got those two things. It really fucking makes it. But you know, like eating at the dinner table, maybe fucking, and also going downstairs and being able to work out in the downstairs and.
I also said I want like a meditation space, and whether that's like literally just meditation or I'm gonna do my breath work there, I'm gonna do my journaling. Like I want to get more serious about like my internal work too, because I still do it. I have like stuff. I'm in a breathwork course right now, but like again, like we're going there, things are changing. I want that to like get deeper and more embodied, so that's something that I'm like intending to do.
So we're gonna have certain neural pathways that we're gonna have to break, and in order to you're gonna have to break those in order to expand, essentially, because otherwise you'll get in the same grooves again. You know, it's kind of like fuck. I'm thinking like snowmobile trails, right? You know, like you drive down the snowmobile trail and then the dude in the front makes a ski imprint. Well, then you're gonna follow the same path because to a degree, right? Because your skis are gonna catch depending on the skis that you have, so it's gonna catch that groove, and then you're just gonna start going down that groove again. So then you gotta pull it back out, you know, of that groove, steer it out of that groove, and otherwise you'll be following that same groove all the time. And that's just one of those things. Like same thing with neural pathways. It's gonna fucking, you know, you're gonna get back in that neural pathway of like wanting to sit down and, you know, watch TV and eat and whatever else, and then you're just like fucking get back out of it, you know. So. But now it's like, because like here it would be really hard, right? We're in the same house, we're in the same everything, you know. Right. But now when we go there, it's radically different. We have a table. We don't, like it's just going to be radically different because you're in a completely different environment. So it's going to be easier to just fucking like cut it off right then and there. Versus like we'd have triggers here.
I know this is like a topic you wanted to go off on its own, and we still can, but like being like intentional too, because here things, it's like a neural pathway, like they go autopilot. Like I get home from work and I make food and we like all of it's just already ingrained, and so there like you said, though triggers though too, but we're not going to have that there. So like it's just going to be more intentional, period, because like it's not the same. Yeah,
exactly. So we have the opportunity to expand and develop our own new habits, and processes, because that's what everything in life is. It's a system. Everything we have in life is a system. So if we're able to build a new system that services us or serves us overall better, like that's ideal, because we need to find something that serves us and puts those particular systems in place to allow expansion, essentially. Because like right now we're in this fucking, you know, like in my personal opinion, rut. And that's what I was talking about like before we jumped on, was like I feel like I've maxed out my potential here, like for where I'm at. Like is there more growth that I could accomplish here?
Well, right.
Yes.
It's not like the opportunities around just stop.
It's not like I'm just dead in the water and, you know, it stops. But the point is, like, I basically hit my threshold of, you know, like when you first go to the gym and you're losing weight and you're like, fuck yeah, you know, I fucking lost 20 pounds, I've lost 30 pounds, I lost 40 pounds, and then you fucking plateau. I plateaued here. Like, I plateaued in my hometown. Like, I can't, you know, is there more that I can do? Sure. But it's going to be better for me, and I'm going to expand faster if I fucking pull myself out and fucking throw myself into a new lake, and I'm like, fuck, now I've got to I'm either going to sink or swim. I'm going to fucking drown if I don't figure this out. And, you know, like, knowing me, I can figure shit out. Like, I've done very well. So I'm comfortable being uncomfortable, but I'm comfortable going into this new situation, trying to learn and trying to pivot and shift and everything else in order to, you know, basically develop my new skills and, you know, all that jazz. So, because you were kind of resisting that thought process originally, for the most part. Like, you were like, oh, you know, the threshold. Like, I hit my peak here.
Oh. Well, yeah, there's still, like I said, I still feel like it's not just like opportunities have stopped, but like you said, it's going to be a much more slow expansion here
Yeah.
versus like,
Yeah.
here we freaking go.
Yeah. And that was the point, you know, like I want to, because that was like my final decision on selling this house. I'm like, what is going to fling me the furthest, the fastest, you know, because I want to expand. I don't want to take another 3 years to become a millionaire. I want to become a millionaire next year, you know, or whatever that might be, right? So, like, is it going to be having all this capital and all this jazz and, you know, ready to go at, you know, a minute's, you know, whenever the opportunity comes? Or should I leave it here and, you know, I don't have to open a HELOC loan, I'll have to do this and that, you know, fuck around, you know? So I'm just like, you know what? I'll just move there and I'll just fucking get it done. Oh, another thing in regards to expand is buying that fucking house there. Like, that was a tough decision for me originally because, like, I literally, so I'm like thinking, like, you know, I'm still thinking the same mindset as I was here, like same general idea, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fucking buy this cheap ass dinky house, and you know, I'm only gonna have, you know, this much of a payment, because, you know, like before I only had an $800 a month payment, right? So I'm like, okay, you know, like that's what I can afford, that's what I can do. This is, you know, that's where I want to be, is $800. It's comfortable, it's, you know, it's there. And then I got to a point where I've got no payment, so I'm like, ooh, it feels good having no payment. Like, it's really good. I like that. Well, then now, when I was going over there, I'm like, okay, let's like keep it around $1,000 to $1,200 a month, you know, like, you know, let's keep it around that area. And then, you know, like the houses issue is just like, there was one house that I probably could have done for like 160, which would have, you know, like been in that fucking $1,200 to $1,400 range maybe, and probably less than that. Yeah, probably $1,200 maybe. And then there was, you know, this other house, because Justin sent me the house basically that we're buying, a house very similar. Like immediately when I told him I was looking for housing, you should buy this one. And I was like, yeah, 300 grand? No, I'm not looking to spend that much, you know, not at all. And then, you know, as time progresses, you know, we go there, we check out houses and everything else, and I'm just like, you know. And then the numbers started to make sense to a degree, right? Because I was either going to spend 200 and some odd thousand on this one that's old and I would have needed to redo and spend time with, or fucking, you know, two whatever on this one, and I was gonna, you know, basically move in and everything was gonna be done for the most part, right? I already have plans on fucking making the place better, but it's a brand new house, spec home. That's literally the one he basically showed me to begin with. So
and that's what he said to me there too. Like, you guys are making this move out here, like you want to level up.
Yeah.
So like when I'm not necessarily, especially with like a financial decision, I'm not one to like push him and like let's like look at this more, and like if he's like nope, I'm like okay, like because I trust that. And he was like feeling like, again, like this is where I'm comfortable, this is like what we can do. And then to have like people in your circle who are willing to push you when you may not necessarily feel comfortable or ready for that expansion, but like he's like, bro, like if you're guys gonna move out here, like level up.
Well, yeah, exactly, because our house is 100 years old. This one's like literally brand new. It's not even done yet. They're still building it, and I'm just like, fuck, dude, like that's a lot more money, that's a lot more risk, that's a lot bigger payment, that's a lot, you know. I'm like, but just like Sean talks about, you know, like you have to expand. Like he just took on a fucking, you know, and I can service the debt, right? And I'm, you know, and he talks about this, you know, you have to be able to service that particular debt, and I can service that debt, but I like to just fucking take the money and stack it over here, right? And like, okay, cool, you know, I'm like hoarding it, and like, and so then when I come up with another opportunity, I'm ready to go. Well, I have that money. Even if I buy this fucking brand new house, I still have a huge chunk of money over here to fucking still take advantage. So I don't even necessarily need to have the extra pennies on the dollar that I'm trying to fucking stash and, you know, for winter, right? You know.
And then again, just looking at like, who are we gonna be in that new house? Like we're not even there yet, and we're already like, oh, that shit's gonna change. It's gonna be so cool. So like, if we weren't, or you weren't willing to like make that choice to buy this house, like then that $500,000, $750,000 house will never be next because we've never even moved on from like where we are here.
Yeah, we never moved on from a $100,000 house. So how can we, jump from a $500,000 house if we can't even, do a
Do that in
$200,000?
between step.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because that's how it is. Like you just take babies. Well, yeah, you just take steps. You
Right.
don't. You're not gonna. There will be times that you will take leaps and bounds.
Right.
But right now, it's just like a baby step. Like, okay, cool. Let's just fucking take this step and let's just fucking accept that now I have a fucking, $2,000 payment or whatever, and here I am. Like,
Well,
okay, bam.
That
Okay.
1% better each day too, right? Like the small things. Like every day you may not be like, oh, now I'm reading a whole book a week and I'm like making all these connections and making this money right now. Like even if you are able to do that small baby step of like 1% better tomorrow than I am today, like that's expansion. And that's like, it's not all just these really big decisions, like it's all the little ones that you make along the way too, your daily decisions.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, I mean, overall, I think that wraps it up for the most part, because we just basically wanted to talk about, I wanted to talk about that, because I'm like, damn, dude, that really hits home, because like that's literally what we're doing. We're expanding our house, we're expanding our network, we're jumping into a whole new fucking environment for everything, like, just to expand. Like, this is literally what we're doing it for. Like, I'm not moving it for the job or particularly the job's money. I'm moving over there for the expansion that comes with that, with that move. Like, the opportunity, that comes with that move. Because like, it's just like, fuck it. Let's, otherwise I'm not going to grow as fast. Now, I want to grow as fast as I can. And personally, for me, I feel like I have hit a plateau, even in the past year, probably. Like, I'm just like, like, what have I really, I paid off the house and whatever else, but what have I really done overall in the past year? Like, I don't know, not fucking much, I feel like. So, yeah. So here we are, fucking going balls deep inside of Mitchell, South Dakota. We're coming for you, Mitchell! Alright, cool. Well, that wraps it up for us. Sorry we're a day late.
Literally pointing fingers. Way to take responsibility.
She got
it's
home
my
late.
birthday. We can do it on my birthday if I want.
So thanks for joining us. Smash the like button, ring the bell, and check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for joining us again. If you got any value out of this, share with your friends or family, and that's about it.
I'm excited for our makeshift podcast studio. I feel like it's better quality vision, seeing.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Not as fuzzy. So, okay.
Bye.
See you.